Yo, what's up guys, this is Toby from Natural Book Show and I hope you're having an amazing day. Baldur's Gate 3 has been out a couple of weeks now and people are really enjoying the game, me included. I've made a lot of guide videos and a few reactions about the game, and now I finally compiled 14 of the most interesting and secretly OP mechanics in the game to take your gameplay into the next level. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, right off the bat guys, for number 1, this is the most powerful item in the game, which is the backpack. Not only the backpack is able to help you out in managing your inventory and sorting all of your stuff, it is actually a vessel of destruction because we're going to be using the backpack basically as a nuclear weapon. We're going to be dumping all of our damage dealing items in our backpack, such as grenades, smoke grenades, poison bottles, poison vials, or any sort of item that can deal damage. And now we are going to be throwing this backpack to our enemies, and whenever we throw a backpack far enough, it will get destroyed, leaving all of its contents in the ground, giving us the opportunity to just light it up. So whenever you have a fireball spell or maybe just a flaming arrow, you can ignite everything the backpack has to offer to your opponents and unload a ton of damage to them. With proper setup and preparation, you can actually one-shot bosses with just a single backpack. For number 2, I'm going to be introducing you to the Mage Hand. Aside from it to able to shove, fly around, and help you out in the battlefield, a really interesting mechanic for the Mage Hand is its ability to throw items that it can reach throughout an enemy. This is actually a really good exploit for us because we're going to be using the Mage Hand as artillery support. We just need to set up our Mage Hand in an area and leave a lot of explosive bottles or poison bottlers or whatever damage dealing items that you have in your inventory right next to the Mage Hand, and it will be the one responsible for throwing those items to your enemies. Alright, coming in number 3, we're gonna be utilizing Light. Light is a really interesting spell because it can help you get more visibility, especially in a dimly lit area or a very dark area such as the Underdark. And the real interesting thing about Light is you can actually attach into inanimate objects, meaning whenever you have junk items such as fork, spoon, plates, or maybe cups, you can attach light to it, making it a really good light source. It's gonna be giving you advantages in your attack rolls, especially if you have characters that don't have dark vision. Number 4 is the potion. The potion is a really effective item, especially in the early game, that's going to be saving you a lot. But if you don't know guys, potion is going to be more efficient if you throw it in the ground, because whenever you throw it in the ground, it gives this small AoE, giving us the chance to heal people around that vicinity, not just the person that you are using it with. So whenever you use a potion, please consider throwing it instead of using it directly. Number 5 is an interesting one called crate stacking. If you don't know guys, Baldur's Gate 3 always gives advantages whenever a character has the higher ground. So for us to utilize this higher ground advantage, even if we are in an area that has no high ground, we are going to be using crates for us to stack up. You can stack up 3 crates that you find around the world and try to set them up before a battle for you to get advantages for your spellcasters or maybe your rangers. And when you're finished doing the battle, you can actually take this crates into the next battle. So you can just leave it there or you can just take it again. Number 6 is dip to any surface. This is very useful guys, especially if you're playing tactician in the early games. Whenever you find an elementally lit object or area, you just need to dip that weapon to that area. For example, in my case, I found a torch, so I will be dipping my sword into that torch, giving me the opportunity to have a flaming weapon on hand. It's not just going to be limited to melee weapons. You can actually dip your bows or crossbows into this fire or any sort of elementally charged area for you to get the full advantage of that element. Find familiars or maybe cat form. If you don't know guys, cats are very useful in the game. Not only they have the ability to jump through fences into small crevices in areas, they also have shout, or maybe in a form of a cat shout that distracts enemies and attracts them to the cat. So this is going to be a really good setup for you if ever you want to AoE down enemies. You can just send in a cat, growl, and then attract a lot of enemies and just nuke everything down within the vicinity of that cat. Next up is shove. Not only this shove is a really interesting ability because it has the opportunity to shove your opponents in the chasms or maybe higher ground, it is also really effective to use shove whenever you can, because you're going to be shoving your opponent a little bit further away from your character, especially if you have mages or rangers in your team. Whenever you shove an opponent, it doesn't consume actions for you. It is actually a bonus action. Up next are two spells that are secretly OP, which is the Enhanced Sleep and Featherfall. Enhanced Sleep and Featherfall are really nice spells because number one, they don't consume spell slots and they have a really large AoE area that you can use them for. So whenever you use Featherfall, you don't get falling damage whenever you try to jump from higher ground to the lower ground, and vice versa whenever you try to use Enhanced Sleep, and you'll be able to jump further away vertically or horizontally to that location, which is a really useful tool to have. Sending to camp is really useful, especially in the early game. Whenever you find a chest or maybe an item that you are not allowed to open or you can't open yet, you can actually take them to your inventory and send them to camp. So that's going to be giving you the opportunity to lockpick or open it from there in a safe area. And also guys, a really interesting fact about sending to camp, whenever you have a lot of camp supplies that's going to be encumbering your character, you can actually send those supplies to your camp and you will be able to use that whenever you're trying to do a long rest, because it will be consuming any items in the vicinity pertaining into your camp supplies. Whenever you can, just throw all of the food items that you find throughout the world directly to your camp, freeing up a lot of space in your inventory. The Warding Bond is a really powerful spell because it gives you overall resistances to any sort of damage. I'm talking about physical and magical. It is usable until your long rest. You can actually use Warding Bond on your frontliner or any tank character that you have, and it's gonna be giving them overall resistance both magically and physically, which is pretty OP. Next up is Sanctuary. If you don't know guys, Sanctuary is really powerful because opponents can target you whenever you are in Sanctuary for as long as you don't cast any spell or do any damage. This is really powerful, especially if you have a healing character. You can just pump Sanctuary to them and they won't get targeted by enemies. It's gonna be giving them the opportunity to heal a lot of your members in your party. And just remember guys, you can still take AoE damage if you're in Sanctuary, so please mind your positioning and your distance. And finally guys is the Iron Hinge. If you don't know guys, there are items in the game that you can actually shoot down to help you deal additional damage to your opponent. In my case, this is the Iron Hinge that are found in the prison area or any underground area. You can actually shoot down these hinges, and whenever they drop down, they deal additional flame damage to any character that is unfortunately below. And that's it guys for the 14 secretly OP mechanics and items in the game. I hope you guys give it a shot and see how really useful these items can be. If ever you have any clarifications for me or any questions, please comment down below. And don't forget guys, if you like the video, please hit that like button. It really lets me know that you guys are enjoying my content. I hope I earn your subscription in the future, but if I earn it today, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And that's it for me. I hope to see you soon on the next Master Box Show. Peace out. Bye guys.